So hello everyone, my name is Rohit and in today's lecture we are going to learn about some basic fundamentals and core concepts of Spring, and especially we are getting started our journey with Spring and Spring Boot framework. So we will cover these four concepts each by one. So let's talk about why do we actually need Spring Boot while we have Java? This is a very logical question, right? Everybody who is want to learn about Spring and Spring Boot framework, he should have this question in his mind. So why do we actually need Spring and Spring framework while we can make our applications with Java? So let's see. So in before 2003, Spring Boot was developed, and who make Spring Boot? So in 2003, Spring framework is developed by Rod Johnson. Rod Johnson. So before 2003, before 2003, developer used Java, enterprise Java, to make their applications. But the problem of enterprise Java is that we have to configure lot of stuff. Let's see. Let's assume this is application which made by Java Enterprise, right? So this application is made by Java Java Enterprise. So the problem of Java Enterprise is we need to configure lot of stuff like our servers, our servers, and also our databases and lot of stuff as well. So before we even write our business logic, we have to write code for this configurations as well. So which application have to be taken 2 or 3 weeks will take 2 to 3 months in the worst case. So that's what is not an ideal case, right? We do nobody wants this. So that's why in 2003 developer shift their way with Spring. So they made Spring which reduce the configurations of these stubs so that developers can't waste their time to configure these stuff and don't mm, write any main business logic yet, right? So that's why we move to Spring framework, and this is the based on Java, right? So this is the framework which is the based on Java. So let's talk about the intro of Spring. So let's move to a PDF and then see how things going in Spring. So here's the small overview of Spring framework. Like Spring is a dependency injection framework. We inject some dependencies, and then these dependencies should do some specific tasks on their own. So we will talk about it later. But you should know that Spring is a dependency injection framework to make Java application loosely coupled. What do I mean by loosely coupled? That even if we want to change something or change some code logic in the future, we don't have any problem, right? So that's why we call it loosely coupled. And Spring Framework makes the development process easy for Java Enterprise applications. We watch that Java Enterprise has a lengthy of configurations. We don't want to do these configurations, so that's why Spring Framework comes. Spring Frameworks enable you to build applications by POJOs, which is plain old Java objects. So your application will be industry level and scalable with secure manner. And Spring was developed by Rod Johnson in 2003. So we saw that, right? So let's talk about some core concepts of Spring as well. So these are some core components of Spring. So in a Spring framework, we have core container, which contains all the objects, all the beans, and wire them together. Okay. We have AOP, we have JDBC, which used to connect our Spring application with a database. all the data which we transfer between application to database handled by JDBC, right? We have Spring Web, which is used for like move our application to internet. Then we have testing, because testing is a necessary thing, right? Because we want to test all of our APIs that they should work perfectly, right? So this is the major bone structure of Spring framework. You have to like overview that, so you can keep in your mind that how the structure of Spring framework looks like. So now let's get started with the project making structure, that understand the project making file structure of Spring Boot, like how, well, like what is the first step toward the making projects in Spring Boot. So let's go and see that. So the first step is go to your any browser and type the Spring initializer, Spring initializer, or you can type start.spring.io, whatever you want. I'm typing Spring initializer and click on the link which is first appear on your screen, and you will move to Spring initializer, right? So here you first need to select your project, which can be Gradle with Groovy, Gradle Kotlin, or Maven. I'm selecting Maven here because Maven is currently one of the best tool right now, so I'm using Maven. Language is obviously our Java. Spring Boot version, you can select any version you want, but I assume that you have to select your full version, right? You don't want that you take a snapshot and that will give you a bug, right? So you don't need that, so select a full version. Now you need to name your Spring Boot application. I will name that com.project, and now we need to give artifact and name are same, and with the help of group artifact and name, package name becomes, right? So I'm giving them first project, and you can give your description as well. Project, okay, project. And now for packaging, select jar, select your Java version which is installed in your PC or laptop and or Mac, whatever you use. And now you need to select dependencies. We have many dependencies like web, which is support our build web including RESTful services, application using Spring MVC, use Apache Tomcat. It will include Apache Tomcat in itself. So, and we have Lombok, which will help Java annotation library, which help to reduce boilerplate code. We don't need to repeat the boilerplate code everywhere, like for getters and setters and many more. So this will reduce that. And click on the generate button, it will generate a file which we have to go to downloads. And here I have many of projects, so I will make project with another name because it will mix all of things up. Like, let's just make what I will make, library project, or let's generate this project. Now let's go here and we need to extract this now. So after extracting it, it will give me a project which is this. Open this project with whichever ideally you want. I prefer IntelliJ IDEA, but for this class I need to show all of these file structures, so let's just go through with VS Code. So here it opens. So here we can see we have a file structure here. So let's talk about it. So here we can see src, which is source. Here is the main function. So in main we have our main files which have with the name of project we made. Like we make project name with your library project. So here You can see that if you spend it. Library project, and we have resources. Here we use here we code our business logic. We have make many entities and as well, and here we have application.properties, and this you can see our project name. And in here what we will do, in application.properties we define our servers, our databases, and connect with them with our application. We will talk about it. And here in the test we code our test, check our APIs and functionality that it will do perfectly or not. And here we have a pom.xml, which is a XML file. And this is a very important file, because whichever dependencies we want to use in Spring Boot project, we need to insert it here in the dependency section. And here you can see we select web dependency. So here it is, we select Lombok dependency. Here it is, and this dependency is default in Spring Boot. It will come whether you select it or not. Test, so that we can test our APIs, right? So here is the Bainbone structure and a starting pack of our Spring Boot application. I hope you like this session. We will talk about more functionality and more things in future in great detail. So this is it for now.